And this is something a lot of people say, is that the best Christians are Muslim. That's why people say Jesus was a Muslim. I still do believe that Islam is what Christianity was supposed to be. And I have never been so brutalized by fellow Christian.
Seorang TikToker dengan akun bernama @Kylie membagikan pengalaman spiritualnya yang justru memicu kontroversi di kalangan sesama umat Kristiani. Pasalnya, Kylie cukup kritis dalam mengulas aspek keimanan dan ketuhanan dalam agamanya sendiri, yang akhirnya membuat banyak penonton yang seiman dengannya merasa kurang sepakat.
Now, I don't want this to be a backhanded video towards Christians. I have Christian friends and family. I love them dearly. I have no issues with Christians. But I want to point something out, and I want this to really sit with people. Like, I want people to digest what I'm saying, because it speaks volumes. So about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was posting a lot about Christianity because I was reading about it again from a deeper perspective. I was reading scholarly work. I was reading about the early church movement, the church fathers, Christian mysticism, orthodoxy, and I have never been so brutalized by fellow Christians. I had felt that I was a Christian, and I was just completely casted out by so many Western Christians. And I accepted the badge, being a heretic. I didn't care because I knew in my heart what my experiences were.
Dalam videonya, Kylie menceritakan bahwa setelah melalui perjalanan panjang dalam memahami konsep ketuhanan serta pedoman hidup dalam agama Kristen dan Islam, ia merasa lebih banyak menemukan keselarasan dengan ajaran Islam. Bahkan, ia tak menampik bahwa Islam memberikan penjelasan yang lebih komprehensif dalam setiap aturan dan tuntunan beribadah kepada Sang Pencipta.
Then, fast forward a few months, and I start learning about Islam. And this was completely accidental, and I was shocked. I was shocked right from the get-go. I continued reading, and it blew my mind, and I realized that a lot of my beliefs did align with Islam. And this is something a lot of people say, is that the best Christians are Muslim. I did not feel as though Jesus was God himself. I felt that he was a prophet. I did not believe in the original sin theory, the penal substitution theory. So at that point, I was like, okay, this is making a lot more sense. After 3 minutes of watching this video, your life is not going to be the same. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, everyone. Watch this. Firstly, the word Muslim means one who submits to God. So let's keep that in mind. That's why people say Jesus was a Muslim. As someone who has very much participated with New Age, with magic, with Wicca, I've dabbled with Hermeticism and all the things, right? Like, I have been seeking for a long time. Now, there is a lot of legitimacy in these paths, but the thing is, it obviously requires action. It requires effort. It requires energy, because you are bending reality to your will. But there is a greater will, God's will, and the will of your highest self. So you have like the lower self, the animal, impulsive, instinctual self, and then the highest self that I would say is the part of you that is directly connected to God. This, you have to bend yourself to the will. You don't bend reality to your will, you bend yourself to the greater will. And you do this through virtue, through love, compassion, connection, honesty, loyalty, self-purification. This is the process that Jesus was showing everyone. This is the process that Muslims go through. They don't participate in pop culture. They don't watch gory, over-sexualized content. They don't follow trends. They don't date. They don't drink alcohol. They don't do the hookup culture. So many of these things are forbidden in Islam. It's just like completely shifted my spiritual paradigm in such a way. I still do believe that Islam is what Christianity was supposed to be. This is the message that Jesus was telling people, like, hey.
Namun, pandangan ini menuai reaksi keras. Kylie mengaku menerima banyak komentar pedas dari sesama umat Kristen. Sebagian besar komentar yang ia terima bernada merendahkan, bahkan mengandung unsur yang cukup menyakitkan. Hal ini membuatnya merasa tidak nyaman, hingga akhirnya memutuskan untuk berhenti membahas topik tersebut di videonya.
Now here's where it gets crazy. This is the interesting thing, because I have received so many comments over the years on my spiritual and religious videos. 95% of those comments always came from Christians. I've had so many Christians backhandedly, condescendingly say, I'll pray for you. I'm praying for you. No, you're not. I know that you're not. You just verbally attacked me and dehumanized me, and now you're saying I'll pray for you. No, you're literally weaponizing that prayer. You're weaponizing that act. It's crazy that that's even a thing.
Menariknya, respons dari para Muslim justru berbeda. Kylie mengaku terkejut dengan reaksi mereka yang tetap tenang dan memberi dukungan. Meskipun ia sempat berhenti membahas Islam dalam videonya untuk waktu yang cukup lama, tak satu pun dari Muslim yang mempermasalahkan keputusannya itu. Sebaliknya, mereka justru memberikan dukungan dan harapan dengan cara yang tulus, tanpa meninggalkan komentar yang berkesan negatif sedikit pun.
Now this is where the juxtaposition just has me shocked because last year when I first started posting about what I was learning about Islam, there were a lot of Muslims in the comment section. None of them condescending, none of them berating me, none of them bullying me, leaving hate comments. I got a lot of Muslim followers from those videos, and guess what? I stopped posting about Islam. I stopped reading the Quran. I really stopped all of the studying that I was doing. This whole time where I have posted some things about New Age until the other day, these Muslims were silent. They weren't leaving me hate comments about those videos. And guess what? The other day, when I posted for the first time in a year that video about Islam, you want to know what happened? A lot of those Muslims came out of the woodworks and they said, I saw your videos last year and I have been making dua for you. Full body chills. Seriously, let that sink in. None of them ever weaponized or condescendingly said, I'll make dua for you. No, they just did it. And then their faith just let them leave the situation alone, because my situation is not theirs to deal with. Just like my situation is not for Christians to deal with. But I don't think that a lot of their faith is strong enough for them to actually feel that way. They feel like they need to come in here and force you to change your mind and bend you to their will. And it's that's not how it works. We don't get to choose how God speaks to the hearts of other people. If you want to pray for someone, please do, by all means. If you want to make dua for someone, please do. But to weaponize it and say it in a condescending way when you don't actually mean it, and you don't have faith strong enough to know that if God needs to speak to this person, that God will, let that sink in.